Is that
Yeah.
back on? I can't see it. Okay. Oh. Okay, so Shirley went ahead and pretty near finished hers. And what I would say about it is, again, it looks a little dull. It's not exciting.
It's too dark and I overworked it.
It's okay. It may be overworked. It doesn't have a.
What was that?
Oh, I just kicked my water and
You kicked
splashed
the
it.
bucket.
Yeah. Oh. So, again, I think on this you could play with it. Now, Shirley has a technique where she goes to the sink in there.
You gonna tell them about that now?
It's specifically the sink technique. Yes, and we should name it the Shirley technique.
Yeah, it's the Shirley.
So, and she runs water over, and then whatever she's got left when she, oh, I didn't realize you were gone. Oh, okay, you brought yours too. Okay, so whatever she has left, she gets it dry and then she reworks it, and it's amazing because you get some great effects, and she does some great things.
To do it the first
But-
time.
When you do that,
Can you let us watch you do that next time?
Oh, I just run it under the faucet.
Okay.
That's all I do.
Yeah,
the water.
and
I mean, it's nothing more than that. Just turn on the faucet, run it under.
At what stage, though?
well, here's the point. Not at this stage. This does not have a heavy enough coat of paint on it. Sometimes Shirley paints a lot of darks. And some of the top darks will rinse off much faster than some of the other colors, and that will make it parts of it go
Livelier.
bright and change it,
Yeah.
probably sometimes in unexpected ways that are good. You have to then figure out what to do with it, but it's fun. But here you don't have that kind of heavy darkness, but you've kind of got the same value overall.
yeah.
So all those lights in the tips of the flowers that would glow,
They're not glowing.
They're not glowing, and some of it may be a little too much yellow. I had y'all use fairly strong yellow, but if you look at mine, see how bright that is?
Yeah.
And I was using what I was calling strong yellow at the time.
It's New Gamboge.
Yeah, New Gamboge, yeah. See here, same thing. I've got some stronger bits in there, but a lot of this is fairly light compared to here,
Yeah.
where your yellow is kind of killing it.
I think mine is faucet warranted, Shirley. Don't you think? It's so dark.
I think that would be interesting to try. What kind of paper is this?
It's a 140 Orchis.
It is.
No, it's yes,
tablet
it's
paper.
140 Orchis tablet.
Tablet. Okay, well, a lot of it may come up. It may be interesting. You could try that and see what happens.
Do it. It's only paper and paint.
But the main thing that we're fighting with is that we've got some yellows that are too strong in here. It's the same.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
same problem.
see, I
It's the
didn't
same
like
problem.
that.
And
So-
you could probably,
I'm gonna go to the faucet.
yeah. So I would probably use this on yours, Shirley. But you could stick it on the faucet, see what happens. I just don't think it'll have enough of an effect. I'm not sure about yours, whether it will or not. It just depends whether the yellow wants to come up, because it's the yellow that's the problem.
Ray's got hers.
Okay, let's see this.
Isn't that pretty?
Okay, now this is a really nice start. This is beautifully handled. She's kept her yellows light enough. You've kind of got a few places there that could lift a little bit. Now that would be strategic lifting, and we just so happen to have, let's see, not the right brushes. Dorothy, the one that's on the end. No, the other one. Okay. Yeah, so here's more stuff to learn.
This is a
about.
field trip to get them. That's more fun than paint.
Here are some lifting brushes. I also have some very fancy, expensive lifting brushes. Okay, this works. This is just a craft brush that I have, so it's synthetic fibers that are not super stiff fibers. This is one of those Master's Touch from Hobby Lobby, and it's and what I've done is I've trimmed off the end so it's short and stubby now. You might even have some old oil painting brushes that are right for this. So what we do, and I do need the water up here to show. You start with a dry painting. And the thing is that you can't use the sponges in here. Yeah, I have tried all kinds of ways to make those sponges do detail. And there's only one way, and that is to mask around and do some lifting with the sponge. That's would be quite a project with this, which we probably don't want to do. So here's the easier way. I'm going to get this thoroughly wet so it's dripping. The paper is dry. I am going to now gently scrub. And mostly I'm pulling. I'm not shoving because that kind of damages the paper more. I'm going to pull. And I'm going to do a lot of blotting while I'm doing this. I don't go off and leave it setting. When I do it this way, it does lift a little of the paper off. You can see a little bit of paper fiber coming off with it. So that permanently is changing the paper.
We'll tell them about using the silver spoon if you do too much.
Oh, yeah, okay. I forgot about that. Okay.
Oh, not me. I keep my silver spoon right in my painting.
Okay. Let's first look at this other expensive one. Let's just see if we see a difference, okay? And I haven't tried one against the other on anything. But you see how much brighter that is now? Okay. So I'm gonna pull a little color up here too. And because this has rose in it, in the orange mixture, that may not come up. So I'm giving it kind of a nice little scrubbing, but I can't wait too long to blot it. It's better to blot and scrub some more and blot. A little bit's coming up. This is a much
Don't scrub too
gentler.
much or you make a hole through your paper.
Yeah. I made a hole right through a face one time.
Oh.
Yeah. I patched it and sold it.
Oh.
I think it was a miracle that I could patch it. I mean, that's not the norm.
Wow.
Okay, so that pulled up a little bit of color. It didn't pull up a lot. I possibly could have gotten more aggressive with it. These are great for real soft, gentle bits of lifting, but they maybe don't tackle this. Okay, the thing with the spoon. Who has a spoon? Do you have a
I
spoon?
don't have it with.
Oh, you don't have it with
it's
you?
at home.
Okay. The only thing is that when I lifted, I damaged the surface of the paper. One of the things I could do is I could pack the surface back down some, and that will help. I've gotten rid of a lot of the sizing, so it's never going to be the same. But I could take the back of a spoon and rub over this after it was dry. Don't do it while it's wet. After it was dry, and work to compact it a little bit.
Kind of compresses everything down.
Oh, okay.
I've done that.
Yeah.
It's gotta be a silver spoon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
yeah,
really
you
should be
probably
a
want a
silver
metal
spoon.
spoon, but you could rub it over it like that, and press down and kind of recompact it. Thank you, Dorothy. That makes for a better video. So that is one thing you could do. So I would suggest maybe this is a real good work on the flower, but I would suggest maybe trying to pull up a few yellow tips in here. Okay, because it's so easy for that to slip off to slow motion and then everything goes to hell in a handbasket. Okay, I have here phthalo blue, which Cheap Joe calls Joe's blue. We will forgive him for that, but it does create confusion.
Joe's blue.
Joe's blue is phthalo blue, yeah.
What makes him
In,
claim it?
in Joe's world. Well, it's just
Well, you can't claim much of anything now.
Windsor Newton calls it Windsor blue, so All right. This is powerful stuff.
Ooh-wee. Pretty.
Very powerful stuff. Now we're also going to, I decided that we're going to mix our violet. When you look at your butterfly. It has some violet tips on it. Down here, they're more orangey, but I'm gonna make those violet too. So, I'm gonna get some of my rose. Let's see how that does with the phthalo blue. It's not the most perfect the blue has sort of a turquoisey look, so it doesn't make the best purples, but we're gonna go with something that looks like, yeah, looks like that probably.
That looks like a butterfly right there. Just,
So I'm gonna suggest that you pre-wet this butterfly. Now when we pre-wet him, we're only gonna wet close to the edge, not all the way to the edge. Almost never wet all the way to the edges. And, you know, I may skip a few spots in here. It doesn't matter. The thing is just to have some water down there so that, because we're looking to get a smooth effect. So some of us have texture in the background in the butterfly already. I do. So I'm going to take a little bit of phthalo blue. Boy, this is strong stuff. That little pile I've got out there is enough for the whole class. This is very, very staining and is very, very loud. And so that gives us the most glowing butterfly we can get unless we go to fluorescent paint or something.
And it doesn't matter what brand you have then?
That, you know, with the phthalos, it doesn't. Phthalo is one of the cheaper pigments, and almost any brand will have some pretty good phthalo blue. It's not like they have to skimp on it because of cost. So I'm pulling the color all the way to the edges, and I'm going to paint it as body blue for now. I'm going to mix it later, and it's going to be, you know, duller, but we want it to feel like it belongs. So I even left that tip light colored, because now I'm going to come in here while this is wet. This just doesn't have the glow that does. That's redder than what I'm putting down. That wasn't the best. So while it's wet, let's drop some of this other in. And then kind of comes along the edges. Let's see, this other tip. Mine's just not red enough to suit me. Okay, so I'm going to do that much and I'm going to stop. You can see that there's some other darks in this butterfly. See all the other darks in this butterfly? Well, we're going to mix those and put those on separately after this dries. Because one thing I don't want to do is kill my phthalo. In fact, I think I'm going to get my phthalo a little stronger here. Now what I'm doing here is not the best idea because I want to be careful that I'm not getting it what should I say? That I'm not getting a rough texture in here. It's only because this butterfly is already very, very wet. And I could put a little more of the purpley down in here. There, that's looking better to me. So some of that wet and wet with the soft edges. Okay. Is that showing on this?
Yes.
Yes, okay. It is showing on this. Okay. So we're doing that, and then we're stopping on the butterfly for now. Then let's go to, okay. Let's get into our Prussian blue again. That's what we've, for the most part, used on the background.
Is this Prussian?
no.
That is the Prussian, and I would be very happy to have that. I think it's Prussian. And I would be very happy to have that over here. All right. So on the flower, you will see that there are some dark areas. And let's look at the stems. Even some of the stems look dark. There's maybe some stems showing up in here, or just some dark areas. So what I want to do is I want to tone down some of my oranges very selectively. You want to be very careful about where you put these. So let's start out with a little bit of Prussian, and let's thin it way down. Yep. Let's thin it way down. And I'll start in here. How does that look? I don't know. Let me think. Yeah, I could do that. I could also, though, just make a. Let's take a little bit of orange. I've got stronger orange over here, and put it into some of the blue. Maybe. I don't know if I like that. Because remember, you're always experimenting and discovering. I've got that greenish tone. Let's put that in here. Woo! I've got a lot stronger paint too. I need to be careful. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm sorry, Charlotte, here, can you see? I need to soften those edges, just like we've been softening edges up to now. So, what that's going to do, hopefully, I've got to get a soft edge here. Now that's giving us a dark, and that is putting the center of the flower, really you feel where the center is because it's so dark. Can y'all see? All right. I'm still not pleased with that color. That gave me a good dark, but let's try something else. Let's just take the orange. I'm using this one because it's got more strong orange in it than that one. So let's take the orange that we were working with, and let's just put some Prussian blue into that. So what we're going to have is we're going to have a duller, darker orange. That's not enough. I'm getting close to what I already had, but I don't know what you would call this color.
Yellow, khaki green.
Okay, khaki or tacky? Either one.
Khaki.
Okay, so let's put some of that in the center areas. This will be a little more subtle and be a little easier for you to blend because it's a little closer to orange. So let's use that instead of what I started off with. Okay, that's better already. Yeah, let's put a little here too.
So you put Prussian.
I put a little bit of Prussian into some orange until I got a tacky or khaki.
Khaki.
Yeah. So you're going to just use this in some of the center areas, but maybe even this, I'm even putting it in this petal, which maybe that doesn't belong there, but it still has that feeling of being near the center. So you could do a little bit of that. Let's see, let me do one more area. I think I'm going to put a little bit right here. So this isn't so much about realism as it is about giving us a dark that makes the oranges feel brighter, and at the same time giving us something that feels like we're closer into this. We know where the center of the flower is. Mm-hmm. I'm also going to put some of that on the stem. If I want to green that up a little bit later, I could. Here, let's just throw a little. Woo, woo. little phthalo blue in there. Little Joe is blue, yeah. Let's blame Joe if it didn't turn out. Okay, so I've got a stem that's kind of compatible. It's not too bright. You don't want a phthalo green stem. You don't want a bright green stem. The stems are not supposed to be that important.
Would you do the same on this one?
Yes, I would do the same on this one. So again, I would come in here and I would put some of this in some of these areas. I'm not as concerned with making good darks on this one. We want this one to feel like it belongs back in the distance, and there's different ways to do that. That area right there is kind of bright in this picture, so I will just dull it down with some of this. So a little bit of that kind of thing going on in there. Okay, now, let's see. Oh, and a little bit of it in the stem. And there's some stem showing. There's actually a stem area showing up right up there. It's part of the stems showing. Because remember, we're looking at these flowers from the side. And I don't want to totally define the stem all the way down, but maybe I'll put some hints of stem down here. I don't want a long, boring line there. Maybe I'll get that a little darker. Okay, so we've got some of that. Now, my background is not that rich. So I would like a richer background, possibly more greens in it. So let's grab a big brush.
That's a lot of information.
Okay, wait a minute. Would it be best? Okay, how about, and it is kind of late. How about we stop there and y'all do that much? Would that be better? Okay, let's do that.
So I was trying to remember the butterfly.